This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf, and it's available in print in 13 states at your local cannabis retailer and also available online at leafmagazines.com. I'm Mike Ricker, your host of Leaf Life, with my co-host and partner, Wes Abney, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's Stashly,
the token female,
and Mary J. White,
the smoking female.
Although we are mostly unaware of it, much of our interactions are accentuated by using our hands. And in these times where it feels like we speak to people less than ever, this is a great time to reinvigorate the conversation for those who not only can't speak or hear, but also for those of us who can. This is sign language.
We can use our hands for more than just rolling joints.
Oh. Amen to that. Our first segment, communication by gesture. And on our second segment, death and cannabis. But before we get educated, we've got to get medicated. So let's get stoned. Yes, indeed. This is where you fire up or you drink up or you chew it up, or whatever you got to do to get the cannabinoids in your system. Get in the mood as we introduce this show's Greg the Guinea Pig.
Hi, I'm Greg, and Ricker used to try his weed out on me. But now it's someone else's turn to be the guinea pig.
Yeah, and this time the guinea pig comes to us from all the way of Grants Pass, Oregon. He's the co-founder of Homegrown Organics and the COF of DEAFINING, a nonprofit organization. Jared PANKS, welcome to the Leaf Life podcast, bro.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's wonderful to have you as well. This is the first time we've had a show where someone has actually done sign language the entire show. This is going to be unique. If you're on YouTube, you can see it now. But before we go any further, we've got to get you stoned, brother, and find out what's in Stash's stash. Go ahead and spin that wheel, Stash.
And now, what's in Stash's stash? Will it land on the nug jug, the dab saucer, the vape cart, the edible, the infused drink, the inhaler, or the suppository?
All right. Hey, Jared, looks like you don't do dabs and Stash. Looks like you're pulling a dab out of that grab bag stash of yours. So we're just going to have to call in a pinch hitter.
And now, stepping up to the plate, here's today's pinch hitter.
Call in the pinch hitter. Who is it going to be?
All right, Stash, you're the pinch hitter. Step up to the plate. What do you got?
I got a dab saucer. This is awesome. This is a brand out of Santa Cruz. Crème de Canna.
Crème de Canna from Santa Cruz, California.
Sounds fancy.
I love this packaging. This is their fresh frozen live resin, and it's a Diamond Pops.
All right, Diamond Pops. Yeah.
Pops.
Tasty. And expensive.
Look at that.
I mean, expensive
Fancy.
sounding. I know the inside of the box is all heady and stuff. The outside's all classy and elegant and white.
It.
The inside's got all these illustrations and stuff. Jared's looking at it like, taking notes, getting ideas for my own brands here. Jared, now let's talk about your, while Stash does a dab, let's talk about your wife, Angela. Can you give me a little bit of background? Now, we featured her and you guys in a recent issue, which was the Impact issue. Is that right, Wes?
Correct.
Yes. And we're intending to do an ongoing online and potentially print feature every month, maybe every week if we get there, about sign language and the importance of it in society today. And your wife is at the tip of the spear in that arena. I wanted to say industry, but it's not an industry. People aren't making money. It's a way of life. It's
community.
A way of community.
It's self-sacrifice when it comes to it. You know, I mean, it's about having a bigger purpose with your life. And if we're going to try to equate that with value, you can't do that with gold. You can't do that with silver. You can't do it with fiat. You can't do it with crypto. To really embrace what value could be, it's through communication. Communication is so important.
And tell me about your wife.
Well, my wife, she was born deaf and raised in Southern Oregon in Grants Pass. And, you know, she didn't have a deaf school where she could go to. That's in Salem, and that would take her away from her friends and her family. And, she grew up there in Grants Pass, and they had an interpreter that would go around, and there was a small group of deaf people. And the other two that were in that group, they actually work with us and are co-owners in this project as well, and defining. And yeah, it's a lifelong experience, and I can't even imagine what she went through as a kid.
And you guys have 5 kids of your own, right?
Yeah, 5 kids.
And so what does Angela do for this organization?
Oh, everything. I mean, without her, she's the grassroots. She is the foundation of it all. Without her, there's no stone to stand on.
She's here in the studio with us now, watching.
Oh, yeah.
And you're signing to her.
Half-assed, but she also has an app on there that's allowing the closed captioning to take place. So
amazing.
Yeah, so we can keep up and pace.
Yeah. And
how was that dab stash?
I forgot, so I had to take another one.
So it was really good.
So waiting.
What I wanted to say was without Angela, I mean, she was the one that bought the property. She's the one that went and got her medical cards. She's the one that got other deaf people to come in. She's the one that's been making the videos and educating herself to be able to make this language. I'm a hearing person. I could never do this. It has to be done with the deaf for the deaf. If it was just me doing it, I'd be a mockery. So without her and her life dedication to learning holistic medicines and, learning the different values of, terpenes and your endocannabinoid systems, I mean, to be able to share the information to a whole deaf community, I mean, you're talking over 300 million people. I mean, soon
worldwide,
over the world. That's the population of the United States. That's a huge population. So for her to be a founder, to be developing this language so that we can share this experience and education and provide hope and opportunity in life, how to do a lot with very, very little, and teach them what value really is.
And did you learn sign language before you met your wife or after?
I met her a little bit after I had started learning. So I played hockey with a man that was deaf. And that's what really kind of got me curious, because he would play goalie and he would be yelling out and be like, what is he saying? Like, I don't know. And he's got gloves on and he's got a stick, so he can't do sign language
with gloves on,
yeah.
bro.
And here I'm the 16-year-old kid playing with adults. So it's a whole different game for me. And, he was different and I was different, and we kind of hung out together, and he showed me his way of life, and I got to learn a little bit of sign language, and that basically got me ready for when I did meet my wife for the first time. We were out boating and she was wakeboarding, and I had never been before and she had never been before, and no one was there to communicate with her, and she was out there just basically being drugged through the water. So I jumped out there and swam over and finger spilled my little heart out while treading water, and that's how we first met. And then I went off to college to be a firefighter paramedic here in Salem.
And you had a nickname when you were that paramedic, right?
Yeah.
What was it?
Dr. J.
Dr. Duct Tape, right?
Oh, no. That wasn't when I was a paramedic. That was when I was working Forest Service.
Oh, okay.
So
he had a cut earlier in the studio, and so I was like, all you need is some duct tape.
Damn straight, man. That'll fix space rockets.
Exactly.
So how
service
important-
runs in your family.
Very much so.
How important, in your opinion, is sign language to communications in the world today? Because like I said in the open, we all gesture and we're not even aware of it. It's like breathing. It's just automatic, right? But how important is it to take it a step further and have actual intention with how we use our hands when communicating?
Oh, man. For me, it's really mind-opening or mind-boggling how much potential is here. Because I can watch videos of people speaking in different places in the world. let's say Mexico, and they're doing sign language, or maybe in Brazil and they're doing sign language. I don't understand what they're saying. Maybe I understand like 10%, but I understand 50% of their sign language. So could you imagine being able to go anywhere? Let's say you go to Canada and you don't speak French. And
the French part of Canada.
I can still have a conversation with you. And maybe I don't understand all of it, but if I can understand 50%, I can put the other half together. And we can try.
That's a great way of thinking about it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
This is, dude, I had no idea.
That's like the easiest second language you could potentially learn then.
Not even second. First language.
Yeah.
My 6-month-old baby already signs.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Good job, guys.
What?
Well, that's their first language.
Yeah.
And when they develop, they're a lot smarter with their rationalization skills. I want the blue bear. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can communicate. I want milk. I want candy. I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can communicate back. And for a toddler, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Because they're able to put it all together already.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no screaming for cereal through signs.
They're still screaming, but she doesn't hear it.
That's an advantage.
Yeah.
That's why you guys look so young.
So this might be a silly question, but is Spanish ASL the same as English sign language? I mean, I guess ASL is American Sign Language. So does it change, or is it universal for the most part?
No, man. Dude, East Coast versus West Coast sign language in ASL is different.
Really?
Wow.
Because there's slang on the East Coast, there's slang on the West Coast, and there's slang in between.
And there's slang in signing.
Mm-hmm. And the language is always evolving. Back in the day, it was sign language. And then you have sign language, which means many, right? Or you have sign language. So these are 2 different ways. There are 3 different ways that you can say the same thing. And it's kind of like the same thing with the word love. I can love hamburgers. I can love my kids. And I can love taking vacation. It just means something different.
Love the hamburger as much as your kid?
No. Way more. I love my kids are amazing. My kids are amazing. They make great food. I got little chefs. I kid you not.
Hey, speaking of food, brother, now it's time for you to play Don't Harsh My Mallow.
And now, everything you thought you knew about marshmallows and less.
Another marshmallow, dip face.
Oh, a marshmallow! Marshmallow! This is Don't Harsh My Mallow.
Hey, Jared, whatever you do, brother, don't harsh my mallow.
Really? Try not to. Yeah.
Marshmallows they're great. They're hot. You're aware of this, right?
We just featured infused marshmallows from Alaska.
Oh. Yeah. Was that the edible of the month, Wes?
It was.
In Alaska Leaf Magazine?
In the July issue, Fire Eater Marshmallows.
Man, how delicious.
Like 10 flavors.
Everyone loves marshmallows. And if you don't love marshmallows, you have problems. It's that simple. So, don't harsh my mallow. True or false, Jared? Number 1. The earliest mention of marshmallows dates back to the year 2000 BC. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
That's incorrect.
2000 BC.
What?
That's true.
They even made out of
Egg whites and sugar. You
Older
tell me
than
that-
Jesus?
No, they were whipping egg whites and sugar in 2000?
In ancient
Pre-2000.
Egypt, eating marshmallows was considered to be a great privilege.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have any mixers.
Well, they had actual marshmallow plants.
It's a... Oh, man. Okay, I'm not making any damn sense now. Come on.
All right, number 2.
Are you
Moses
talking about
burnt
the
that bush.
plant? Because the plant is different than the food.
Didn't get it back.
Like marshmallow root is like an herb.
Picked marshmallows off of a tree once. What's wrong with you?
Dude, you were so high. Come on. What's the second fucking question?
All right, number 2.
Christ.
The modern the modern marshmallow is a mouthful. Man, Wes, read that for me, please.
The modern marshmallow consists of 5% air.
Give
True
me
or
that
false?
back. All right.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah.
Good job.
5% air?
Air, yeah. The modern marshmallow.
I would think it'd be a lot more than that.
True or
I'm
false?
going to say false.
He's correct.
Good job.
Marshmallows are between 40 to 60% air. When a vacuum pump is used to make them, the air inside of it moves outward, expanding the fluffy treat. This phenomenon is called Boyle's Law, which originated in Egypt in the year 2000. That's
you are
not
so
true.
full of shit right now.
I just threw that on there, Mary. All right.
Wait a minute.
But the rest is true. 40 to 60% air. All right. Number 3. Bearded Loraxes have been known to use marshmallows for caulking petrified redwood tiles in their stone and twig constructed summer creekside huts close to their favorite trout ponds where Mr. Beaver is a common neighbor. True or false?
Oh, I think that's
It's very
true.
sticky, great adhesive.
You chew them first, don't you?
I believe
Spit it out.
they just fall out of the bag and probably work their way into all the little crevices. And that's how beaver dams are really formed, is marshmallows and sticks. Yeah,
True.
totally true.
True.
That's
It is.
absolutely false.
Liar. This man has lied to us this whole time.
Sorry, bro. Actually, they use a dried mixture of salmon eyes, deer semen, and peat moss.
That's why.
Don't
Marshmallows
ask how we
are
collect it.
marshmallows are, however, a delicious breakfast treat when stolen from the nearest Safeway and roasted over an open fire with cured elk dung chocolate and evergreen bark crackers to create the perfect outdoor s'mores. You don't know much about bearded Loraxes, do you, brother?
Not really. I haven't really kept up on my bearded Lorax.
Well,
Wow.
Okay.
here's the granddaddy right here, baby. This right here, this is the
We need to
man.
spend more time together when it
Yeah.
comes down to it.
I agree.
100%.
Yeah, my deaf community needs to understand this.
Yes, we need
Yeah.
a word for me.
Bro, what's the sign for marshmallow?
I don't know. I would
Oh.
have to spell it.
Okay, well, you can invent that.
I don't
brother,
know.
and
Yeah, you
Be
do.
a great influence. Please have Angela invent the word marshmallow immediately.
No, I'll ask her and see if she knows.
I appreciate it, bro. If you want to discover cannabis news, reviews, entertainment, and culture, and explore every Leaf magazine at your convenience, search leafmagazines.com. Coming up in our second segment, we'll dive into DEAFINING cannabis. We'll get another spin of Stash's wheel, and we'll kick it all off with another episode of Not For Nothing with Mary J. White. Leaf Life continues in just a moment.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies.
Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Northeast Leaf, Maryland Leaf, Amsterdam Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risks associated with consumption of this product. For use by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.
Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker or Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.